a need for an interface that fuses generative AI models with domain-specific use cases, customizable to kind of any task, any type of text data specifically for you. And I guess we'll go through, like a few examples of like how this works in practice. So the first example, I'd call this like the hierarchical classification example. And you can kind of think that maybe we have like a data set of Amazon reviews, and we want to kind of categorize them into the specific buckets, such as like clothing, electronics, and home. And then within like electronics, maybe there's like sub buckets such as like phones, cameras, and TVs. Then within phones, maybe we want to know like the specific type of phone, like iPhones or Androids. And this is actually a really common problem that a lot of businesses face. But you can imagine as your taxonomy would get like really complex, just a simple zero-shot classification model might not cut it. It might get like a certain degree of accuracy, but if you want to kind of get a really high accuracy, you kind of need to incorporate human feedback to like learn. So on Anote, we have kind of a product that, you can kind of upload your data. You can kind of add these sort of like categories, subcategories. You can delete ones that are bad. You can add new ones if you'd like. Then you have the optionality to add these kind of labeling functions, which you can kind of think of as like keywords for specific categories, or or entities that might be indicative of a specific category. And after you do that, you kind of have this interface where you can kind of annotate. You can skip items if you're not sure. You can kind of highlight items if you kind of think it's important. And then as you kind of make like labels, we will kind of like learn based on your input to kind of adjust the model in real time in such a way that you can kind of just go and like download the results on the category, subcategory, subcategory aspect of your data set. You can kind of search for, specific rows. Yeah, I guess there's like other cases too, So for instance, one thing we constantly see from people that are interested in AI is that they'll kind of ask ChatGPT these sort of questions, and maybe they want to like summarize a long document or kind of ask a series of like yes, no, maybe questions. And ChatGPT, or other LLMs might give you like good output, but it might not be like ideal for your specific use case. So on Anote, we kind of are able to take these LLMs as, like input on these kind of documents where you can just kind of ask questions. And then you can kind of see the results from the LLM, and you can kind of like edit the results to make it be like what you kind of want to talk about, like OmniJape is great. And then we'll kind of learn based on the differences between what's predicted and what we actually kind of do to make the model like better in real time that you can kind of download. And then I guess kind of the last thing that is like kind of a core capability that we're like actively working on is what I call named entity recognition. So a lot of times, you want to find like entities in text, and you aren't necessarily sure, which part of the text is an entity, and a zero-shot model might not just cut it. So you can kind of have a zero-shot entity model as like a starting point. And then as we can kind of iterate and highlight entities that are right or remove entities that are wrong, the model will basically learn in real time to get you a more tailored, accurate NER model like this. So you can kind of see here, we have this interface. You can kind of highlight words that might be indicative of specific things. And then as you kind of make these highlights, we're learning in real time to basically provide tailored responses to finding entities. So you can kind of think here, there's labeling functions you can have for specific entities with the keywords and entities, and you can kind of learn in real time for, the entities you highlight to get more tailored like results that you can just like download. And the way it kind of works is you have like projects, and in a project you can have multiple people there, and then you can have what I'd call data sets that you can kind of go and review, and you can add collaborators to kind of incorporate human feedback to make projects better.